Take our seats. Good evening. The time is approximately 5:30. This is the first public hearing for the Board of County Commissioners, public hearing for the budget. This is September 13th. The time is approximately 5:30 in the afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to ask Commissioner Constantine to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. May we all stand, please? Commissioner?
Let us all remember. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Board of County Commissioners does not have any control over the tax levy of the budget of the school board, Board of Management District, in any of the 7 cities within Seminole County. Questions regarding the property assessment evaluation should be addressed to our property appraiser, Mr. David Johnson. David, stand to be recognized. Thank you. And I will tell you that we're very lucky to have Mr. Johnson. He's done a phenomenal job. The Board of County Commissioners has limited authority over the budget of the constitutional officers of the county: clerk of the court, property appraiser, sheriff, supervisor of election, and tax collector. Clerk of the court budget is reviewed and approved prudent to Florida statute, with exceptions of the Board of Records and Finances, which is submitted to the Board of County Commissioners. The property appraiser and the tax collector's budget is reviewed and approved by the State Department of Revenue, Section 195.07 Florida statute. The sheriff has the right to appeal any decision regarding the budget to the governor and the cabinet, Section 30.49 Florida statute. The purpose of this hearing by Florida law, we're required to have 2 public hearings must be held to ultimately adopt the final millage rate annual budget for Seminole County. The purpose of tonight's first public hearing is to hear public comments regarding the proposed millage rate and budget, amendment of the budget as desired by the board, and a tentative adoption of the millage and the county budget for fiscal year 2022/23. The first public hearing has been advertised through the notice of the property taxes millage by the property appraiser's office in August, and all ad valorem taxpayers in Seminole County. At this time, I'd like to ask the county manager and staff to discuss the proposed millage rate for budget fiscal year 2022/23. Mr. Applegate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, Commissioners. Before I turn it over to Lori, I want to thank our staff for an amazing job during the past year with Tricia, Melanie, and Lori, and Tim, and all your staff. Thank you very much, and without further ado, I turn it over to Lori Bailey Brown.
Thank you very much, County Manager. I'm Lori Bailey Brown, Chief Financial Officer and Resource Management Director for Seminole County Board of County Commissioners. Tonight we're holding the first public hearing to adopt the 22-23 proposed millage rates and tentative budget in accordance with Florida statutes. I would also like to thank the Office of Management and Budget for all of their hard work in bringing this budget before you tonight, and also thank our constitutional officers. Their diligence and communication with our office is very important to this process, and we appreciate it. We held 4 budget work sessions with the board from March through July and presented the county manager's proposed budget on June 15th and posted it to our website. The millage rates were tentatively approved on July 26th and delivered to the property appraiser as required by statute. Tonight's hearing will discuss the tentative millage rates and the proposed budget. The FY 22-23 tentative budget is based on these proposed millage rates shown here. As you can see, the rates are equal to the current year. The rollback rate is the rate that will provide the same ad valorem tax revenue as levied in the prior year, excluding new construction and community redevelopment districts. Each millage rate is approximately 10% above the rollback rate. We will read each of the rates for the record later in this meeting. Property values increased approximately 12.6%, with 2.5% attributable to new construction. Here are the increases in taxable property values for each taxing authority, detailing the percentage increase related to new construction. The proposed millage rates will generate a combined $297.8 million in FY23, including an additional $23 million for the general fund. Fire fund ad valorem revenue will increase by $9.1 million, and the unincorporated road district tax revenue will increase by $240,000, for a total of $32.4 million in new ad valorem revenue countywide. The additional revenue is used to fund increases in public safety, road maintenance, and new positions. Here's an example of a property tax bill average market value for a single-family home in Seminole County. With market value growth of 12.6%, the average assessed value assumes an average Save Our Homes cap. The taxable value includes a $50,000 homestead exemption. With the homestead exemption and the Save Our Homes cap, the increased tax bill is $21. The non-homesteaded tax bill increases $439. Here are the total millage rates of Seminole County and surrounding counties. These rates include the school board millage rate and other ad valorem millage rates such as library, debt service, and mosquito control. For comparison, the total tentative budget is $992,480,753. This includes $22.4 million of adjustments from the county manager's proposed budget of $970 million. Details of the adjustments can be found on page 14-15 of the public hearing document. And in summary, there was $6 million in net increases for various grants and another $18 million in interfund transfer adjustments, primarily related to department requests, transferring funds from operations to capital. General fund and the sub-funds, including renewal and replacement funds, economic development, represent 37% of the total budget at 346, that was 37% of the budget at $364 million. Special revenue funds include transportation, fire services, grants, capital and debt services, and represents 32% of the total budget at $319 million. Enterprise funds, including the county's water sewer fund, solid waste activities, represents 25% of the total budget at $250 million. And internal service funds include property liability, workers' comp, and health insurance funds, and they represent 6% at $59 million. The total expenditure budget of $700.6 million, the total expenditures budget is $700.6 million and excludes reserves and transfers. It's detailed here by service area and shows public safety, physical environment, and transportation are 74% of the total expenditure budget. Public safety is fire and the sheriff's budget. Physical environment is water utilities and solid waste. Transportation includes road construction, drainage, and traffic engineering. General government costs include constitutional officers, other than the sheriff, facilities maintenance, planning, and our self-insurance activities. That concludes my presentation of the overall budget.
Thank you. At this time, we'll now hear from the public regarding the proposed millage rate and the proposed tentative budget. Ms. Beach, do we have a written request?
I think I see one coming down.
Do you have any written request? Okay. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak? Please come forward. It's okay, Bill. Please give us your name and address for the record, sir.
I got a pass on it. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Bill Hyde, live at 2379 Audley Street in Oviedo. I guess this is my annual trek up here. You would miss me if I weren't. What I would like to say is It seems that we got about 12%, 12% extra coming into the county. Inflation's 8 or 9%. So it seems like you guys are taking advantage of the spread. This isn't a business, it's supposed to be government. You guys don't need to be making a profit, a 2 or 3% profit off of what we're paying you. I would hope that you would consider at least some small rollback. People are not yet recovered from, all the stuff that's gone on in the last year, 2 years or so here, and especially a lot of seniors. I get it. You guys are good. You do have senior, exemptions and veterans exemptions, which we appreciate, but everybody doesn't get to take advantage of that. So I would encourage you to at least consider some small reduction in what you're asking for. I don't expect you to stay to the rollback. I mean, inflation is tough, and we have to keep government going. It just makes me uncomfortable when it feels like you're working on the spread and it's my money that's going into the piggy bank instead of taking care of services, employees, and stuff like that. That's all I got to say, except the non-ad valorem, did kind of hurt us a little bit, but I do want to say that the Waste Pro team in my neighborhood, don't change them. You've never heard me call a complaint on those guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hyde. Bill. Anyone else in the public who would like to speak to the board at this time? I'm going to close the public input. Public input is now closed. This time I'll ask the board, is there any discussion from the board members? See no discussion from the board members. We're here to establish a tentative millage rate. There are several motions that need to be made.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 22-23 countywide tentative millage rate of 4.8751 mils.
The motion is the second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next motion.
Make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 22-23 fire MSTU tentative millage rate of 2.7649 mils.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Is there a motion for the MSTU?
Move to adopt fiscal year 22-23 unincorporated road district MSTU tentative millage rate at 0.1107 mils.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. I'd like to now ask staff to read the tentative millage rate into the public record.
Thank you, Chairman. The general county millage of 4.8751 mils is 10.03% above the rollback rate of 4.4306 mils. The fire rescue MSTU millage of 2.7649 mils is 9.8% above the rollback rate of 2.5182 mils. The unincorporated road MSTU millage of 0.1107 mils is 9.71% above the rollback rate of 0.1009 mils. The tentative aggregate millage rate for all BCC taxing districts is 6.8931 mils, which is 9.62 increase over the current aggregate rollback rate of 6.2880 mils.
Thank you. Now to entertain a motion for the tentative budget for fiscal year 2022-2023.
So moved.
Second.
I think we need to read it.
Move to
Move to
adopt.
adopt the proposed tentative budget for all funds for fiscal year 22-23 as presented to the Board of County Commissioners by the county manager in official capacity as the budget officer and subsequent adjusted as the tentative budget of the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. The final public hearing to adopt the fiscal year 2022/23 millage rate and budget is scheduled for September 27th, 2022. Do I hear a motion to approve the final public hearing and authorize the staff to advertise the tentative budget hearing and hearing pursuant to Florida statute, Chapter 129 and 200.
So moved.
Can we hear the motion?
Move to approve the second public hearing to take final action on the millage rates and budget for fiscal year 22-23 to be advertised for Tuesday, September 27th at 5:30 in the Board of County Commissioners chambers.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Thank you. This public hearing is now closed.